finally nice outside again, so I figured that we would do a little bit of filming outside here for the days. We talk about the very many disappointments that are in this new format. Let's dive on into it, shall we? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the most, Avery LR32 here. Destroy the ever-living alliance in sight. Boo-boo stain off that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher the 1500 ladder. I keep saying we're almost at 1600, and then the sub count doesn't really move. So if your cat, your dog, your grandmama, you got a YouTube account, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Spread the word of the channel. I really do appreciate all the love and support. I wanted to talk about all the testing that I've done in Alliance Insight. I feel that I have a really good understanding of the format, and I don't know if it's because of my deck choice or just because of what the format is coming to. God, this format is, it's already kind of getting annoying and really under my skin for me. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that I'm choosing to play Primite Fiendsmith or if it's just because of the fact that the format sucks. But of course, everybody and their mama is playing Malice, and Malice is obviously one of the best decks in the room, along with Ryzal Mitsurugi and even to a lesser extent Mermail. And it's funny because I remember back in like 2012, 2013 when Mermail first came out, and I was hating Mermail to death because I was constantly just getting obliterated by it. And I remember back in the day I was saying like Abyssphere needs to go to 1. Abyssphere is a really now crappy Call of the Haunted S trap card for Mermail that of course they don't play anymore. And even back then I was saying Mono Glacia needs to be banned and all this stuff. And so now it's rearing its ugly head again, and it's fucking pummeling me into the ground, and I am sick of it already. To me, it's like the Mermail deck is so broken that it feels like it cheats. And like, I know that's weird to sound coming from a meta player, and I'm sure people are gonna be like, well, Avery, you played Fiendsmith Ryzal at YCS Orlando. Like, that deck basically fucking cheats because the Fiendsmith engine is so good. And yeah, I'd be inclined to agree, but Mermail especially, because Mono Glacia is insane. And I also have a bit of a hatred towards that deck. I'm a little bit biased, but because of the fact that the original YCS Orlando, or was it YCS Miami? I'm sorry, it was YCS Miami back in 2012. And my dad was playing against someone who used to play here in Jacksonville. I'm not going to call him out, but I will say that they used to play here in Jacksonville, Florida. And he cheated my dad because he used Mono Glacia's effect multiple times to rip cards out of the hand. Now, keep in mind, this was back in 2012. We didn't have that many once per turn effects, but Mono Glacia was one of those things where you could only use it one time. So he looped my dad's hand of like 5 cards, and my dad had no idea until another friend of ours in the community was like, oh yeah, so-and-so cheated you because he used Mono Glacia multiple times. So I've always had a very hateful relationship towards water, and I've talked about before how actually a guy who doesn't even play the advanced format anymore, he plays Edison, but I remember years ago him saying people will play water decks until their deck falls off. Like, people for whatever reason love water decks. I don't know why, but people love water decks. When water is one of the best decks, people will play water. I don't know why, but it's a thing in the TCG. And so now we enter into this ridiculous ass format where Mermail is ripping cards on at your hand like it's nobody's business. We got Malice popping off like through 1 Imperm because my dumbass thinks that playing Imperm on a Splash Mage is somehow good when they open the fucking 1-up Gold Sark. And that's the other thing that's been really pissing me off about this format. Again, I don't know if it's because of the fact I'm choosing to play a more tier 2 roguish deck like Fiendsmith Ryzal, because to me Blue Eyes has more bricks than even fucking Millennium Exodia. But Jesus Christ, the amount of 1-ofs in this format that will just absolutely blow you out of the water if your opponent sees them is insane. I genuinely believe that at this point, with how many times Allure of Darkness has been limited, semi-limited back to 3, and Gold Sark has been at 1, it's time to just eliminate this shit. We need to ban Gold Sark, we need to ban Allure, because, again, it's getting out of hand. We should have banned Talents, we should have banned Shifter. I think it's about time we ban Cross Out and Call By, and we start hitting these hand traps down to 2 or 1. I'm really sick of it. I really am. And the fact that now we have another problem on the horizon. I saw this making its rounds on Twitter. There's an old continuous spell card called Samsara, and what it does is that anytime you tribute for a ritual summon, either player, the monsters are returned to the deck instead of going to the graveyard. So this has sparked a whole fucking conversation on Twitter where the question is now, if this card is on the field and you're using the new Mitsurugi stuff and you tribute from the deck, are you even able to tribute since like they can't go to the grave, they go back to the deck? So no one knows the answer. So I'm sure the number one thing people are going to be asking at Rhode Island is, hey, how does this work? Because it's a TCG exclusive archetype. So there's nothing to go by in the OCG that says, yes, you can or cannot do this. And if you look at the Samsara rulings, because of course there would be rulings for an old ass card that no one's talking about, you can't find an answer there either. So it's just ridiculous, man. And like, it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, do I just completely pivot, which I've already spent money on Fiendsmith Rizal, do I completely pivot and play Kashtira Fiendsmith with like a Neospace connector package with Aqua Dolphin and just hope I win the die roll and possibly rip 2 cards out of the opponent's hand? And I'm like, with my luck, because for whatever reason my luck has been terrible in this game lately. I don't know what it is, but my luck has just been awful. But with my luck, I'm going to play that version of Kashtira Fiendsmith. I'm going to lose every die roll in the universe, and then I'm going to open up the Neospace connector engine with no hand traps. And it's like, what are we trying to do here? Like, and I'm sure some people are going to be like, Avery, you're rambling at this point. Like, you're this is the angry rantings of a player who's been playing competitive for almost 20 years. Sure, call it what you want, Sugar Boo Bear, but man, maybe it's just me trying to cope and like trying to like play like outside the lines, so to speak, where my reasoning behind picking something like Primite Fiendsmith is because Droll is a bitch, right? And Droll is absolutely insane in this format. Every list that I look at for playing in this format pre and post Alliance Insight is either maining or siding Drolls to some extent. Whether it's 2 or 3, you're going to see Drolls everywhere. So by playing something like Fiendsmith Primite, almost at Fiendsmith Rizal, by playing something like Fiendsmith Primite, you dodge that of Droll to where you don't care. Because at worst, you're going to go like summon Ether Barrel, set the Lordly Load, pause, activate Load, get Roar, they're going to Droll you. And you're like, okay, I don't care. Use Barrel to tribute Chain Roar, call Dippity, which Dippity's insane, by the way, as stupid as that name is. But you don't care about Droll at that point. Like, even if you open an Engraver at that point, it doesn't matter, right? So that's like my big draw towards this. And of course, being able to use Bysteel cards with like Lubellion and being able to get out Regained. And Regained is good against Malice, with an asterisk. It's good if you set it up on your turn, because doing Regained during your turn after the Malice player already went first, it's going to be Chainlink 1 Regained and then Chainlink 2, say the fucking White Binder. They're going to get the White Binder and you may as well hand them a Trade Binder. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter, right? They're still going to get the card. Alliance Insight did one thing right, and it was that it didn't really push the power level of the format, power creep, I should say. It was terrible in the sense that the set's not all that good, but that's fine. It doesn't need to be absolutely insane like Power of the Elements level good. But the amount of toxicity, whether it's between water or Malice just not giving a shit, which we knew that they wouldn't care about a lot of interruptions because it's a good deck. But now I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place where it's either you play Primite Fiendsmith and you get your teeth kicked in by even shit like Stun, because of course my dad's playing Stun, and I bricked game 1 and 2, and he just absolutely fucking steamrolled me even though I won the die roll. You either go that route and you hope not to play against Rogue and you just hope that you win a decent amount of die rolls and that you can get set up, or you go with something more meta, like say Blue Eyes, even though I don't know how good that's going to be post-Alliance Insight, even with that new Dragon Kunzite card that I see no one talking about. I don't know why. And you aim for the fences and you hope for the fucking best. And it's really frustrating because I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, Avery, just play Malice. Like, if you can't beat him, join him. I'm not a combo player. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and play test Malice lines, and it's just like Yubel. I loved Yubel. I thought Yubel was so much fun and so cool. Once you start getting hand traps into the mix, I'm fucked because I don't know what the most optimal lines are. If my opponent doesn't have hand traps all day, cool, I can play Malice. I can memorize a combo. But you start throwing in Ogres and Bells and Lancias, you throw all that into the mix, that's a lot more memorization that you have to keep track of. Whereas something like Fiendsmith Primite, when I played that at Orlando, is very mid-range. You know, I knew the Fiendsmith combos, which were mid-range in of itself. Rizal was very mid-range in of itself. You know, if you want a deck that plays itself, just play Fiendsmith Rizal. It's not hard. If you get Drolled, you make a Detonator and pass. Just ending on a Detonator is still very good, especially if they don't have an out for it, because they still have to out the Detonator, whether that's with Imperm, Ultimate Slayer, Xyz Encore, so on and so forth, Metatronus. So, you guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. How do you think I should be approaching this new format? Because honestly, I'm at a loss for ideas. I think that Fiendsmith Primite can be really good. At the same time, either it's just my bad luck, or the deck is just actually dog shit as someone tries to rev their engine because they think that their Moki Moki is bigger than my Moki Moki, and it's not. Pause. Guys, let me just think down in the comments below as that jerk-off decides to rev his engine, even though his car is not that faster. Mine's probably faster. 500 horsepower versus a loud engine. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.